It was a little after midnight when the rain finally stopped, one of those long, stubborn storms that soaked the whole city and left the streets shining like sheets of black glass. I was locking up the small cafe where I worked part-time when I saw her. Maya. The quiet girl who always took the corner table, never complained, and always tipped more than she should have. She stood under the flickering street lamp, arms wrapped around herself like she was trying to hold in all the pieces before they fell apart. Her makeup was smudged, her shoulders trembling, not from cold, but from something she didn't want to show. "Hey," I called softly. "You okay?" She lifted her head, and the moment our eyes met, her voice cracked. Can you drive me home? Please." It wasn't the words that hit me, it was how much they cost her to say them. I hesitated only because of one small problem. "Maya," I said, scratching the back of my head, "I don't exactly have a home tonight." Her brows knitted. "What do you mean?" "I was supposed to move into my new apartment today. But the landlord messed up the dates, so I've got my car and that's about it." She blinked, absorbing that. Then her eyes softened in a way I wasn't expecting. "So, where do you sleep?" she whispered. I shrugged like it didn't matter. "My back seat is pretty comfortable if you don't straighten your legs." She stared at me, rainwater dripping from her hair, and then, unexpectedly, she laughed. Not a full laugh. More like a tiny exhale of disbelief. "You're serious?" "Very." She looked over her shoulder, toward the darkness past the street lamp. "I just can't go back inside," she murmured. "Not tonight." I didn't ask why. Some pain doesn't need details to be real. "Come on," I said quietly. "Let's get you somewhere warm." The ride. She climbed into the passenger seat like someone easing into a memory they didn't trust. I turned on the heater, handed her the extra hoodie I kept in the trunk, and started driving. 10 minutes passed before she spoke. "My boyfriend," she stopped, corrected herself. "Ex-boyfriend. He got angry because I wouldn't go to his friend's party. He said I embarrassed him. Threw my phone. Locked me out." I tightened my grip on the wheel. She continued, "I know I should have left a long time ago. I just didn't want to start over again." I nodded. "Starting over doesn't mean you failed. It means you refused to settle." She looked at me like no one had ever said that to her before. Another 5 minutes passed. "Can we not go home yet?" she asked softly. "Where do you want to go?" "Anywhere people aren't shouting." So I drove. Past the river, past the sleeping houses, past the late-night diners where truckers sipped bad coffee. And slowly, the tension in her shoulders melted. At a quiet overlook outside town, she spoke again. "You didn't have to say yes," she murmured. "Most people wouldn't." "I know," I said. "But most people aren't the measure. We choose who we are." She looked at me with something like gratitude, and something like surprise. The reveal. We stayed there until her breathing finally steadied. Then she asked, "What about you? Where were you going to sleep tonight?" "Same place I sleep every night I'm broke," I joked. "My car. It's practically a studio apartment with terrible plumbing." She laughed again, this time real, warm, alive. Then, unexpectedly, her expression changed. She unbuckled her seatbelt and reached into the back, grabbing my duffel bag. "What are you doing?" "Where's the address?" she asked. "For what?" "For your apartment." I blinked. Why?" She zipped my bag. "Because you're staying there tonight. With me." I nearly choked. "With?" "Maya, I'm not that kind of guy." She rolled her eyes. "Relax. You're not staying with me. You're staying in the apartment. I'm staying at my sister's. But I'm not letting the guy who saved me sleep in a freezing car." I opened my mouth to protest. She raised a hand. Don't you dare say no. Not after everything tonight. And for the first time in a long time, someone was doing something kind for me. The emotional climax. When we reached her building, she paused before getting out. You know, she said, voice quiet but steady, people always say kindness is rare. But maybe it isn't. Maybe we just don't give it enough chances to show up. She looked right at me, eyes bright despite everything she'd been through. Tonight, you gave me a chance. And I want to give you one too. She pressed her apartment keys into my hand. Sleep. Shower. Eat. Start fresh tomorrow. And if you need anything, call me. I didn't realize how badly I needed those words until they hit me. Thank you, I said, and my voice broke in a way I hoped she didn't catch. But she did. And she smiled. A real one. The morning after. The next morning, sunlight poured through the blinds like someone giving the city a second chance. I made the bed, washed the dishes she'd left in the sink, and wrote her a note. You helped me more than you know. If you ever need a ride. Or a friend. I'm one call away. I left the key on the table and stepped into a day that felt a little brighter. The uplifting ending. That evening I got a text. Maya, I'm at my sister's. Safe. Thank you. For being the kind of person people hope exists. Then another. Maya, want to grab coffee tomorrow? You know, just to make sure you're okay too. I smiled at my phone. Because kindness isn't a grand gesture. It's a moment, one brave, human moment, where someone chooses to care. And sometimes, that moment is enough to change two lives at once.